They're not just going to sit there and do nothing. They're going to continue to investigate. Things are going to continue to fall in their laps. Tips are going to continue to come in. And I'm just like, I don't want to hear that. Like, I want to see this guy die. Like, I don't want him breathing any longer.
Damn, they had to make the video over listening to that. Let's just go with what we got.
They were just out to live their lives to the fullest, to be successful in life, you know, to work hard, you know, to eventually be married and have families and have good jobs, and it was just unfortunate what happened, you know, to the two of these. I know it's more than two, but these two very best friends, you know, it's just it's real, and people, I don't think sometimes understand that this isn't TV. And yes, there's TV shows about it, but it's real.
The community that helps you realize that you can't treat everyone like the person that did this to you. And you know, when I was talking to Jack about some of the songs that she loved, and he's like, one of her last songs that she was listening to was "Most People Are Good."
Innocent until. Take my time with this one, man. Shout out to y'all for watching that last video. I was able to slow down in life. People are always suggesting that I do that. If you see me in real life, you will see that I'm always moving fast. Now, I don't know how to describe it, man, but it's always like I'm rushing to do things, you know what I mean? And I've not always been like this. It's just been like the last couple of years, so I do need to slow down, man. Give myself anxiety, gonna give myself a heart attack or something. So yeah, I'm gonna slow down with this one, take my time. I did not watch, you know, the Court TV episode. I'm not saying I won't. I have not watched any of those. You know, I know Dateline did one. Maybe long. It's been several. I can't remember which media platforms did them, but I haven't watched any of them. I've said from the beginning, man, you know, I want to wait until things come out at trial. I think, you know, both the defense and the prosecution, if this thing makes it to trial, which I don't see a reason why it wouldn't, they will have their most concise case, you know what I mean, in the courtroom. Not saying that that will be the best case for either side, but it will be the most concise one that they're able to put forward. So I've been saying from the beginning, you know, I want to wait on that. Because I don't feel like digging down every rabbit hole, man, you know, and I know we're all different people, man. I go out of my way to say I'm not trying to insult anybody, but I'm pretty sure there are some things that I do in my personal life that people would find ridiculous, you know what I mean? Especially some of what you guys know as OCD and germophobic habits. They were clowning me, you know what I mean, yesterday in my, you know, my other group about my other platform about that. They were clowning me because I mentioned a lady coming into the restaurant. You know, they do it all the time. Someone did it today. They come in and they just sit at the table and blow their nose while they're eating, while other people are eating. I'm sure some of you do that. That's just absolutely disgusting to me. And I shared that with them, and then they were clowning me about being disgusted by that, you know what I mean? So, you know, when I say certain things, we're adults, man. Like, just because I'm not necessarily trying to insult you if I find things that you do ridiculous, just like I'm pretty sure some people would be intending to be insulting, but some people wouldn't be intended to be insulting if they find certain things I do ridiculous. And I'm just tying that into, you know, all of the rabbit holes that I do see. You know, some people prefer to chase in these cases, man. There's so many cases going on. The lady just got convicted of the I drop trial murder. She murdered a friend. You know, the Maya trial. You know, it's just too much going on, man. Like, every time, damn near I look at YouTube, there's another shooting. Police are responding to another shooting here in Miami. So it's just too much going on to keep up with all around. And then if I take into consideration all of the theories that YouTubers are coming up with, you know what I'm saying, to create content, whether it's from a good place or, you know what I mean, not so good of a place, they have ulterior motives, you know what I mean? I just can't chase every rabbit hole. I can't chase every theory, man. If that's your thing, I've said it a million times, that's your thing, but it's not me. So that's why I haven't watched any of those things. But for some reason, I'm thinking I may watch this court TV thing. It's kind of calling to me. I did watch, the G's. I'm gonna call them the G's because I don't know if you're supposed to say Gonsalves. I don't know, man. I'm black as hell. I'm not Hispanic. I don't be knowing. I don't even be knowing how to pronounce American names. So how in the hell I'm gonna pronounce, a non-American name correctly? I'm gonna mess it up. So we're gonna call them the G's, and sometimes we're gonna slip and say the whole name and say it wrong. If you're new here, I mess up names. I mess up words. Welcome to my humanity. I did watch their interview, I guess, with the local news station, and I had some questions about it, and I did take some notes. And I'm gonna get into that. Y'all know I ramble and I be all over the place. But first, I want to talk about this news coming out about Dylan. And I think I get it. At first, I'm just like, some of these things are puzzling to me. I have questions about them. But then I was reminded, because I don't keep up with dates and times and places and things and, that nature of life, that it is the 1 year anniversary. So I'm guessing that's why we're getting a lot of updates, and we're hearing about how people feel and what people are doing and where they are now in life. I'm guessing, and maybe other reasons too, but obviously when you have an anniversary, things are going to pop out. They just swell on anniversaries. When you have your wedding anniversary, you have your birthday down, whatever. Things just swell a little bit more than they do usually. So. But I'm hearing about, Dylan switching schools. I don't know why that was a headline. And what I'm about to say, guys, I want to be clear. I don't even know if I want to take a shot at anybody, because this could just be, mainstream media and low-tier media spinning, because, everybody just always wants to be doing something, man. Sometimes you just want to say, get a damn job. Why are you trying to monetize tragedy, man? Why are you weaponizing tragedy to monetize it? You know what I'm saying? That's just crazy to me. And that's damn near what I started to name this video, Milking Tragedy. That's what I started to name this video, because I knew I wanted to look at, the G's interview, and I knew I wanted to make a video and speak about it. And I was going to call it Milking Tragedy until I started to watch them talk. And I felt like that would have been disrespectful and inappropriate. And once again, I'm going to hold off till I get into that. But back to Dylan switching schools, because that's the article that popped up to me. I don't want to take a shot at Dylan here. Not about switching schools and her name being, back in the news, because I don't want to take a shot at anybody. But I'm going to, damn it, but I don't want to. But, it could just be the media, man. They want to generate, it's capitalism at work, man. It could be, I don't know. If I had to take a guess, I would say, damn it, that's at least part of it. But anyway, you got this story about Dylan switching schools, etc. Man, who that? I don't want to say who the hell cares, but, I'm dead ass wrong for saying who the hell cares. But in light of, man, who the hell cares? Because I got a quote. Did I put it in the video or did I not put it in the video? If it's not in the beginning, it might be in the end. If not, then damn it, I forgot to put it in there or decided not to. But Dylan's stepmom says, there has to be time for these things to play out in trial. And, I don't know, man. I'm a thinking person. I'm talking to my homeboy, and I had shot him something, to check out. And he's like, yeah, I wasn't in the mood, man. And I was telling him that's how I be feeling about people when they bring their character and their personality into my space. I'm a thinker, man. Didn't I say that in the last video? That's what attracts me to Ann. I'm a thinker. I want to find a thinking woman. I've dated wonderful women. I just realized I've never... and because I'm more of a thinker than the average person. Now, I didn't say I was better or my thoughts are correct. I'm just saying I think. I'm a thinker. You probably know thinking people. So when you say things, I think about them. When things unfold in life, I think about them. I don't just react to things, and yeah, I do that sometimes too, but I'm saying I think deeper than the average person. That's when I like to be around thinkers. I said all that in the last video. So when I hear this stepmom say, hey, there has to be time for things to play out in trial, and all you're doing, the only damn reason you're saying it is because you're arguing for somebody that you care for. Going back to why people will believe a story. I ain't gonna call the damn name no more. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all will believe this particular story just because it fits the narrative that you want to believe, and it slanders someone that you don't particularly care for. But over here, you're using the same. How many times have I said this? If proof is needed over here, it's needed over here. If accusations aren't enough to prove someone is guilty over here, then accusations aren't enough to prove someone is guilty over here. And she using this damn sentence, hey, you sound compassionate. And those are the type of things that I have to remember to be patient and compassionate toward. Because you really just on some BS. And I don't know this lady, so I could be wrong. Damn it, she could have said the same thing about Brian. There needs to be time for things. She could have that same mindset about Brian, so I want to be clear. Since I don't know her, I don't want to go too deep into it, but I know most people, you will present those graces for the places, people, places, and things you care for, and you forget that they need to be applied in other people, places, and things as well. And that kind of stuff pisses me off, because I realize it immediately when I see those things and see those statements. I realize how many times I ask this in my videos, are you applying these things to other areas of your life? I just believe in moral consistency. So when I seen that, I'm just thinking like, and that's why I had just checked myself, because my immediate thought was, are you just saying that about Dylan? Do you feel the same way about Brian? Remember I talked about Samantha, and she was saying, hey, you need to be patient. Some of the things you guys are saying online are just not true, and we need to wait. And at the end of that video, I said, well, I wonder, does she realize those same things apply to her father and her extended family? Y'all be killing me how y'all pick and choose your moral integrity. Because too many times I see it lacks moral consistency. And yes, mine does too. That bothers me. That be the kicker for me. People will lack moral consistency and their moral integrity, and they don't even give a damn. They just skip on down the road like nothing is off here. Something is off here. Young lady, who in the hell told you to speak for Dylan? It referenced something her father said, but the article now, I didn't write this damn article. It could be another Nancy Grace, Coffee After Dark, lying out their damn teeth. The article, if they're quoting you correctly, and citing you, says you said these things. You were married to her father. You're not married to her father anymore, and you stayed, past tense, close to the family. I had to read that sentence again, because this is third, fourth party information, so I don't want to give too much weight to how much I'm about to be critical of this lady, but I'm going to give a little bit of weight to it. I had to read it again, because it said you stayed close to it. It didn't say you stayed close to the family. It said you stayed close to the family. So I guess that, I don't know, did they misquote that? Did they write that wrong? Should it have been present tense instead of past tense? Because that's the first thing I'm thinking of. The article wasn't long. It was just talking about you being sympathetic toward Dylan, and by extension Bethany, and how we need to be patient with them, and we don't know what it's like to be younger. I don't give a damn about none of those excuses, because when it comes to being praised and celebrated, women can pick up the world and turn it on its axis. But damn it, anything you want to be a victim about, you immediately want to remind people that you're a girl or you're a woman. I don't want to hear that. 4 people were murdered. You should have picked up your world turning on his axis as strength, and at the very least, not waiting until the next day after your ass picked up the phone to call some friends to call 911. I don't want to hear that BS. You weren't so scared that you forgot how to use the damn phone. You just forgot how to, I ain't even gonna say you forgot, because we still don't know why you didn't call 911 before you called the friends. Just like we don't know why you waited 8 hours. So young lady, just like from your perspective, and I still don't know because we talking about the stepmom. This I don't know. I just read one article, New York Times, if I remember correctly, because I don't have time for all them damn rabbit holes. I want to get this video out. I want to give me something to eat. I want to take a shower. I want to go to bed. I want to wake up tomorrow and do it all again. Like you got things to do. So I ain't got time to be reading every damn article. Somebody said something in the comment section when I made the Samantha video, well, maybe you should have investigated. When people say things like that, once again, I'm a thinker. I know what you're really saying. You're really saying you want me to keep looking until I agree with what you decided to agree with. Now, I've seen enough. Maybe there's more, and I leave room in my mind and my heart open for that. But damn it, I've seen enough to get on this camera and talk. Oh, it's raining beautifully in Miami, man. Y'all hear that? While you want us to be patient and understand that we don't know what it's like to be young girls, and they're not girls either. Now, I want to remind you, Dylan is 21 right now. That means she was 20 or something last year. Maybe 19. I don't know. I can't act. They ain't, whatever. Bethany can't be far off. These ain't kids. These are young adults. But yet you want us to be patient with him and realize in that situation we don't know, and that's very fair. I talk heavy. I be like this and that, but I'm totally cognizant of the fact that I don't know what I'd do in any situation that I've never been in. Hell, I don't know what I'd do in some situations that I've been in before if I find myself in them again. So I don't have a problem with you making that statement. But I do have a problem with y'all acting like, in the article said this several. Now, I lied. I did read 2 articles. I read one about Dylan and Bethany, and then I read one about Dylan and Bethany. So there's still 2 articles. There was 2 different ones, though. I know I just said the same thing, but damn it, both of the articles were about Dylan and Bethany. Now, damn it, I just lost my train of thought. I'm going to get it back. While you want us to be patient, realizing we've never been in those situations, young lady, this is what I was going to say. Both of the articles, and I'm pretty sure more, they describe those of us who are questioning why these young women waited 8 hours to call the police, while Dylan allegedly was asleep at first, but then wasn't asleep, while they call friends before they call first responders. You want us to just overlook that and be patient, but you don't want to understand that, nah, all of us ain't gonna overlook that. We're gonna have reasonable questions, and that don't make us no damn trolls. Did I say that? Because I be all over the place some damn time. That's what the articles are calling any of us who just don't buy into this BS story that these surviving roommates are telling. I know, Missy probably get mad at me. She always asking people, what did they survive? A very valid ass question. But no, we're not just gonna, didn't I make a video? I said in the last video, I don't know these young ladies are guilty of anything, but my first video was the roommates were always the best suspect. You can't just bring us that appropriate, we're gonna talk about some of Steve's appropriate leanings. You can't just bring us that appropriate foolishness and then you wanna call us trolls because we don't buy into it. Your ass might need to Google what the definition of trolls is. I am a troll. I don't really troll about serious things. I don't troll about 4 people being murdered and 2 of the surviving people that was left there still alive, unharmed. I mean, you ain't get a damn scratch. Ain't nobody pull an eyebrow out. See, I'm trolling when I say that. But your ass ain't called 9 when you ran in the room and hid. Let you tell it. Then you ain't called 911 until, first you call your friends 8 hours later. Ain't nobody trolling when we say what the hell wrong with you. You think we just gonna buy that and not question it? You done lost your damn mind. Are you high? Let me calm my ass down, man. Y'all just be saying stupid stuff. And then we just supposed to be stupid and go along with it because you say it in an appropriate and pseudo-compassionate way. You crazy as hell. This is a 1-year anniversary of 4 murders. 4 human beings who ain't with us. I ain't got to know them. Crazy as shit. How you should be pissed off that I don't know how y'all ass ain't. You that mesmerized by feminism that your ass ain't questioning the story that these 2 survivors telling? Y'all crazy as hell. I don't give a damn. How in the hell you that look? You like a damn man or a woman in a relationship and your partner cheating on you in front of you and your friends trying to tell you, hey man, this is going. You like, well, that ain't what you making excuses for it. We not going for that. You go for it. Crazy ass. Well, y'all got to be on drugs, man. So, shout out to Dylan. I hope you getting through. I also hope your ass ain't involved in these murders. Because God watching, and some of us are too. Miss Bethany, same goes for you. Y'all crazy as hell. This ain't just a year later of 4 people being murdered. It's a year later when we ain't got no explanation for those hog feces stories y'all told either. And Dylan, Bethany, your ass ain't said nothing. Don't make me start cussing on this camera. Let's get to Steve now, because I got a whole lot more to say about that. But as you can tell, my passions have arisen. What I supposed to say, a rose or something? Crazy as hell, man. I don't know what kind of drugs y'all be doing. All these damn stories in the news of women murdering people and women, and we just supposed to overlook it because y'all saturate whatever BS explanation and excuse y'all about to give with women and girls. You crazy as hell. 4 women were murdered. Like, how do you weigh that? How do you weigh making excuses for 2 women who are alive who tell us some foolish stories versus the 4 women that were murdered? Because I know most of y'all don't get no damn about Ethan. He's an after story. Shout out to Missy again. She always say, I feel like Ethan get left out. Calm my black ass down, man. I was feeling a way about this gonna see I gonna messing up names, the G's interview. I really was. I kind of just like went into it not liking them. Especially the wife, Christy. I just kind of turned the damn camera on, the video on, not liking them. Like, very biased, man. It makes no sense. Like, why you do all this righteous preaching and be consistent and all this. Like, yo, bro, why you already not liking this woman? I've not really watched a full interview of them ever. Just like I ain't watched none of those things that these platforms came over with. I ain't watched none of their full interviews. So I don't have a reason not to like this woman. The only thing I've done is heard things about it. I've watched clips of her speaking, clips of her husband speaking, but I don't know this woman at all not to like her. So why do I feel such a vitriol in my chest and my heart while I'm watching this video before I'm like even 30 seconds into it? So let me calm down and let me do the same thing I had to do for Samantha, man. Let me watch this with an open mind. And I'm going to tell you some of the thoughts that I had, some of the things that I pulled from it, watching it with an open mind, man. And I did take notes, I'm going to refer to my notes, but I'm not going to try to stay there because, like I said, when I read off the notes, it's just really, really weird, man. They talked about that they do pass, from the page we all know that if you're not new, I can't imagine many people are new to this tragedy at this point. Most of us, I'm sure, are aware that they have a Facebook page, the G's family page. Is dedicated to, just helping them get through this tragedy, man, and whatever else they have it for, man. But what they mentioned was, besides the fact that it obviously helps them, soothes them, offers a form of therapy for them to get through this tragedy, and to deal with it on a daily basis. They mentioned that, people send in photos, photos that they didn't even know exist, and they were able to share some of those photos with the other families. Now, the reason that stuck out to me is because they said, now obviously they're probably communicating with Maddie's family, but and they didn't reference and specify which families they're communicating with, but they said they're able to share some of these photos with other families. And they also said at a point in the interview that, they do speak regularly to the other families. Like, they're in communication, man. Like, they're not just throwing swords at each other, darts at each other. They're in communication. They talk a lot behind the scenes, and those are things that they'll keep between themselves. So that's why that stood out to me, man. Because there are questions, man. Like, we do wonder, are these families communicating? Are they on the same page about some of these things? And let's just be real. They're all humans. So I'm pretty sure there are certain things that they don't agree about, just like there are certain things that they do agree about. And that doesn't have to pit them against each other. We're just individual people, man. So we're going to have our own ways of handling things and processing things. So, but that did stick out to me, man, because they said that, like I said, I'm a thinker. So it almost seems to me, and I'm absolutely projecting and assuming here, that Steve, because he's the one, I think, if I remember correctly, said it, that he made a point to say he wanted to, get that out there, that, hey, man, we are communicating with the other families. Now, me being a damn thinker, I could easily, beg the question, Steve, are you saying that because you know that we're watching you with a keen eye and wondering if, everybody or others involved in this are agreeing with how you and your family are handling it? So was that just like a dog whistle to us to let us know, hey, back off, calm down, they're cool, they not beefing with us? I don't know. That possibility exists. I don't know these people well enough to know when they lying and when they telling the truth, but I took it like, nah, he was just saying it in the flow of things. He did want us to know that. And I think that's a good thing. And once again, he didn't specify, so I don't know. I just don't want to lean toward negative assumptions. So I want to be open-minded and communicate openly, but meaning we have to consider some things that could be deemed negative, but I just don't want to lean that way. So like considering them and leaning that way is two different things to me. I don't really think, I didn't get the impression that he said it to tell us to back off if we're questioning whether the other families are questioning him and his family's methods, but obviously that could be a possibility, man. The thing that I do notice about this family overall in this interview, I referenced this in another interview video I made, man. They seem to get their strength from remembering. Maybe some of you guys are like that, right? They want all the memories. They talked about his mom, Christy. I'm sorry, his mom. Her mom, meaning Kaylee's mom, talked about how that famous photo, the one of them standing on the porch, the one that like really is the headline photo for these tragedies, was just taken that day. Now, these are her words. She said it was taken that day. Her daughter, or maybe Maddie, I can't remember, one of them text a picture to them, and she responded. They had a little back and forth about those photos, and then I think she said they either talked or called, and that was the last call or text she would get from Kaylee. But they talked about that, how those photos came that day. She talked about, how they talked to Jack, so they have a relationship with Jack. Jack has Murphy. Jack is a air quotes dog dad, dog father, however you guys say that. Not like Snoop Dogg, but he's a, you have pets and you say, I'm a cat mom, I'm a dog mom, I'm a cat dad, I'm a dog dad. They refer to Jack like that. They do have a relationship with Jack. Once again, he has the dog. I'm pretty sure most of you knew that. I'm a thinker. I'm probably say that a lot in this video. So that tells me once again, that they have an affinity for Jack. I know once again, you guys don't trust the Jacks. Jack, AB, I said that before. It's a lot of Jacks involved in this tragedy. But this particular Jack, whichever damn one it is, Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, they don't have a problem with it. With him, they cool with him. All of those things speak things to me. When I made the Brent K video, I said everything is saying something. They could just be like, everybody. They could be looking at Jack the way I feel they're looking at Dylan and Bethany, the way other people, the families involved are looking at Dylan and Bethany. They just love blind. I don't know. Maybe Jack is culpable as well, and they just looking past it because they have such a love for him. I don't know, but they do still have a relationship with Jack. Maybe, old news to you guys, but like I said, I'm not a rabbit hole person, so a lot of this stuff I'm just hearing about. Just like I just heard about Steve's Olivia, however you say her name. I like that name. The other daughter that seems to be going back and forth with Samantha. I don't need to be knowing these people, man. Shit. In this interview, they listed off all their kids. Seemed like they had a damn football team to me. This just seemed to be a very family-oriented unit. And they seem to thrive and get therapy from remembering. That says something to me because I'm one of them, but I also know other people, man, like the Chapins, for example. Well, at least the mom, like she doesn't really want to live in those moments. Like she doesn't want to go to trial. The last we heard about it anyway, she doesn't want to go to court. And they just don't want to remember these things. I know you guys have questions about them. I'm not here to tell you what and who to question. But they don't seem to want to dwell on the tragedy. They seem to want to lovingly move past it, even though they do. I know she wrote a book and they got I think they have Ethan Day or something, correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't seem to want to live in remembering as much as the G's do. And I don't have a problem with either thing, man. I cannot emphasize enough, tragedy is horrible, bro. And when you know what happened, tragedy is horrible. And when you don't know what happened, I can only imagine that just amplifies the horror, in the situation. So I'm not one to be sitting back telling anybody how to grieve, why they should grieve or why they shouldn't grieve, why they should remember or why they shouldn't remember, man. I'm an advocate of you doing what you have to do to get through, and not let what happened in your life destroy you, because you are still here and you have to make the best of that. You should want to make the best of that, and I'm a fan of you doing that. So I don't have a problem with the way that they seem to want to remember things. I hope it works for them as well as it sounds like it does. But with them being such, they give, I gotta say this, I just do. On me, I talk too damn much. They give such an air of family unit. It does make me wonder, without drawing the conclusions that some of you guys have drawn, because I'm a man. I've seen the other side of fathers always being blamed for not being present in their kids' lives, when in actuality it's damn near everybody's fault but the fathers, because they did everything they could and were ostracized and alienated. I've seen that. That's a conversation that when parental separation comes up and it's the dad that's separated, it usually leans coming out of y'all mouth toward him doing something wrong. Y'all forget that you damn near know people too in your life with a mom or her family or somebody outside circumstances, whether it be the government or whatever, is the one keeping the dad away. When y'all talk about these stories, y'all seem to forget that. I'm pretty sure a lot of you, y'all said it in the comment section, if not all of you know some stories like that. So, but damn it, Steve, maybe it was just your wife that was giving the projecting of being like, yo, we just real family oriented. Because when I'm listening to that, if you watch this interview, I don't know if you'll get that impression either, but they're like, Kaylee and Maddie knew each other since they were 6 or the 6th grade, and they do everything together, and we do everything together, and like, damn it, you got a young lady over here that's saying she your daughter, big dog. You ain't gonna say nothing about her? Like, you ain't gonna mention her at all in the interview? I'm already wondering why the hell y'all did this interview, but by the time it was over with, I just chalked it up to y'all wanting to get your thoughts out. It was the 1-year anniversary. I'm pretty sure that was also therapeutic for others who, like, they may be long distance involved in this case and tied to this case emotionally, like me. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have a problem with y'all doing this particular interview, even though I ain't gonna lie now, man. Like, damn, why y'all you didn't really say anything that you needed to sit down in front of cameras to say. But at the same time, it is the 1-year anniversary, and damn it, if that helped you and you didn't have no kind of malicious, because some of us is looking at y'all like, damn it, cuz y'all can't stand. We've been saying it, damn it, do y'all eat cameras? Y'all got a camera by y'all bed, not your phone, but like is there a media personality living in your damn house? It seems like y'all always on camera. But I gotta be fair, guys. I don't have a problem with this interview. It is the 1-year anniversary. They are the outspoken family, so it's par for the course. It fits the narrative that they would sit down and do an interview on the 1-year anniversary. Their daughter was tragically taken. But once again, for y'all to give this family-oriented impression, I can't lie. I can't tell you what to say. I can't tell you how to handle it. If you don't agree with me and handle it how I would prefer you to handle it, don't make you wrong or guilty of anything. But damn it, I am looking like, homie, you ain't gonna say nothing Because if y'all didn't give such a family-oriented persona and impression off, I wouldn't be like, yo, bro, you ain't gonna say nothing about your other, you know what I mean? But since you do, it does make me wonder. But I also know that, you know, that lady, the young lady I'm talking about who's alleged to be your daughter, her mom, anybody, they could have disrespected you so much in your heart and your mind, you at the point where you say, and I know a lot of y'all like parents should never abandon it, but that's how you feel, respectfully. Everybody don't feel like that. And unless you've been a parent in that situation, maybe you don't know what you do in that situation either. Now, I don't know you, so maybe no matter what your child does, you would never abandon them. But I know dads who've done everything, including take their own lives, up until the point. And it very well may be that if that is Steve's daughter and everything unfolded, how we're thinking it, some of you guys are thinking it unfolded, hell, he could have just been at the place where he had to cut it off, you know what I mean, so he doesn't destroy himself or take his own life. I'm not saying that happened. I'm just opening our minds up to another possibility because, like I said, reiterating for the billionth time, watching the interview, I'm wondering, with y'all being given such an air of family, why you ain't saying nothing about your other damn daughter, cuz that's all, you know what I mean? The other thing that stood out to me was her, Christy, saying they just want to get court over, which leans back to what I mentioned in the other video of her, like, Brian is just sitting there. She just kept saying, he's sitting there, he's sitting there, he's sitting there. And she was literally infuriated because Brian was sitting there breathing. She didn't say he was sitting there doing anything. She was mad because he was sitting there. She was mad because he was blinking. She was mad because he had on a suit. She was mad because his toenails grow. She was infuriated. And in those situations, man, it's easy to let your emotions take over. And all I could do is remind Miss Christie and everybody involved what Dylan's stepmom said. There needs to be time for these things to play out in trial. You don't know Brian is guilty. That applies for Brian too. So for you to just want this man's head, you know, on the guillotine because he's been accused and you're emotional, I get it, but I don't get it. You know what I mean? You still want the right person, because what if the person that you really should be displaying that vitriol for is still walking the streets? You know what I mean? We talk about that a lot. So when she says she's rushing, she wants to go ahead and get court over because, you know, that will be another stage and phase of them being able to move forward in all of this, not past. I do like how she worded that. They can move forward in all of this and not past. It just makes me wonder, you know what I mean? It gives me pause because I remember you being mad because the man was sitting there. So in my mind, I'm wondering if you could kill him today, would you? Knowing you don't know if he's guilty or not, gotta get your emotions under control. Because also in the same interview, Steve said, and I think you said too, whatever monster, you gotta pay attention to stuff like that, guys. Like I said, I'm a thinker. Y'all didn't say Brian in this interview. You ain't mention his damn name. Now, I don't know if that was pre-coordinated or not, but when y'all was like, yo, we want to get past court, and then y'all followed it up with saying, whatever monster, you said it 2 or 3 times, whatever monster committed this crime. Now, I get it. It's inexplicable to describe this tragedy, much less dealing with it. So it's not, you know, unthinkable to me that your emotions are all over the place, up one day, down one day, convinced that he's guilty one day, not convinced the next day. I get it, but I just want you to remember that. Because not 3 days ago, I watched the interview where you wanted Brian's head on the guillotine. Now your husband, and like I said, if I remember correctly, is sitting there saying, whatever monster, and you said it multiple times. So you could have inserted Brian in any one of those times where you said whatever. You didn't. You stuck with whatever, which speaks to my thinking mind that you're not sure that Brian is the one that did this. So I get it. I just need you to get that. I need us to get this when we're in certain circumstances and we're sure that people are guilty, but then we're not sure that people are guilty. The fact remains, like the story I told about my homeboy who thought my homeboy had been accused of rape or sexual assault or something. And he was like, yo, I don't know which side to pick, him or the girl. I don't know who's lying, him or the girl. Since you don't know, that's the side you pick. So when you sit back and one day you want Brian's head on the guillotine and the next day you're multiple times and repeatedly saying in the interview whatever monster, it just communicates that you don't know. So that's probably where you need to stand before your ass end up contributing to an innocent man losing his life and the person that really murdered your daughter still walking the street, the person or people. Calm your ass down. I get it, man. I get it. Your daughter was murdered. As much as I can, I get it. But you need to let that same passion drive you to wanting to make sure the right person pays for these crimes, not just somebody. That's that bottom line. The last thing I'm going to leave y'all with is this right here, guys. Steve said several times in this interview, if you didn't watch it, you're gonna be lost, man. But you know, I ain't telling you to watch it, but if you didn't watch it, you're probably gonna be lost or a little detached and disconnected from the things I'm saying. He rehashed, that day and what they remember of it, from the food truck video to everything that went on. And he just said multiple times, he described his daughter. These kids did everything right, man. They got an Uber to take them home. They didn't drive DUI. They didn't walk any dark alleys. They were just college kids. They went to school. They wanted to graduate. They wanted to get good jobs. They wanted to grow up and have, get married and have families. That night, they were just college kids. They went home and went to sleep. He literally said they did everything right. Sir, I'm glad you ain't gonna never hear this damn video because I don't know you well enough to know if you could take hearing the truth. Sir, you don't know that. We already know some things about your children that are like, nah, they wasn't doing everything right, big dog. No, they were. And that's what I'm saying. The note that I took literally says, he thinks appropriateness would have stopped his kids from being murdered. Steve thinks appropriateness would have and should have stopped this. This is what he said. You got to go watch the interview. He reiterated several times and emphasized they did everything right, and then he detailed it. I didn't make that up when he said, they were at the food truck and they called an Uber instead of driving it. I didn't make that up. Those were his words. Oh, they wanted to grow up and have families. They went to college. They wanted to get married and have good jobs. I didn't make that up. They literally said it in the interview. And when the part where they were college kids, they just went home and went to sleep. They did everything right. He literally said this verbatim. And what he was communicating, you got to remember I told you I'm a thinker, what he was communicating is that if you do everything right, or if we overlook your humanity and the not so right parts of it, then tragedy and tragic things shouldn't happen to you, sir. First, we got to rewind to the part where they wasn't doing everything right. Now, go watch my video, The Roommates Were Always the Best Suspect, guy. I know we live in this appropriate world, and especially if people are deceased, we're not supposed to tell the truth about their not so right humanity. They lived in a damn party house, man. They was partying all the damn time, bro. So let's follow that line of thinking. Do you really think there weren't some illicit drugs there? I don't know. Since I wasn't there, I'm not going to try to list any of y'all. But at the very least, probably some marijuana. Do you think they weren't? I said this before. I'm from Georgia. This is how we talk. You think those girls weren't getting their heads knocked off? Let me put that in a little, not so Georgian. That's how we talk terms. You think they weren't having sex? Very possibly with multiple guys. I ain't saying necessarily at the same time, but I'm just saying maybe they were, maybe they weren't. And none of it makes them wrong, but damn it, trying to paint this picture. I know we got these drug theories. I know some of y'all think they might have been damn demons. I'm not going down that rabbit hole, but just sitting there listening to that man list off all of the appropriate things about his daughter, her friend. Like, yo, bro, let's be real. At some point, you gotta be real. I'm gonna tell y'all this story. I'm gonna get out of here, man. This is what I thought about when I heard Steve sit there and tell us how appropriate his daughter and, Maddie were. Number one, I think about all these appropriate bull out here. Y'all really just think if you describe things a certain way, if you dress things up a certain way, if you wear the right hairstyle, if you wear the right clothes, if you wear the right shoes, that just makes everything in your world and you appropriate. No, the hell it don't, man. Like, there are people out here like me. We look like what you're trying not to look like. But in actuality, we are what you're trying to portray. We appropriate. We just don't go out of the damn way. And I ain't saying I'm perfect. I'm just saying we way more appropriate than these pseudo-appropriate people who go out of the way to portray a certain look, to project a certain look, when in actuality, y'all just nasty disgrace. Y'all just coffee out the dog. We know y'all full of, hog feces. And you got people like me, I literally curse and I say all these things, but damn it, I'm the one who really cares about these things, so I'm not just gonna say and do anything for clickbait. Y'all, Steve, your daughters weren't as, and I ain't saying they was there. I don't know these young girls, so I ain't, like I say, just hearing him talk, it just reminded me of all these appropriate ass people. And it just, those type of people trigger me. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that. They tick me off, because I don't like the BS. I like to cut straight through it. And hearing him talk reminded me of that. And it also hurt, fam, we got to be honest here. We got to be honest. We don't know this, but we got to be honest. I'm not saying if those young girls were involved in drugs. I'm not saying that they were straight sexual whores. I'm not saying that they were alcoholics. I'm not saying any of that makes them demons. But I am saying just because you describe them and you they dad and they mom and you describing them as the most appropriate angels that ever walked the earth, that don't mean that's who they were in reality, sir. And when you say they did everything right, sir, that's not necessarily reality because you're saying it. Do you know that your daughter, her friend, or some of those roommates weren't involved in something that invited that kind of violence to them? I'm not saying they deserved it. I know how people's ears work. They don't hear what you said. They hear what the hell they want to interpret. I'm not saying nobody deserves to be murdered, but you can invite vitriolic things your way. You can invite violence your way. You can do that. I made the Gabby video, like some things can be prevented. Y'all be running off at the mouth because you come from a certain world and it's like you don't realize that can literally invite a certain violence your way that you don't want. And that's just, that's what I heard when I heard him saying that. Sir, I'm glad that I can say, because you're going to take this as me insulting your daughter. I know how those parents are. I'm going to tell y'all that story real quick before I forget it. I got god kids, right? And one of my god kids, he was getting in trouble at school. So we had to go to I'm the guy, I ain't god kid. So I'm the parent, man. I know what size diapers my babies wear. I'm going to I ain't got no, but I'm just saying if I do, I know what doctor's appointments is. I'm going to PTA meetings. I'm popping at the schools, just to check on them sometimes. The teachers got my phone numbers. I'm involved. I don't believe in that dad protect and provide, go to work, but mom handle all that. No, parenting is parenting. Being a part of the family is being a part of the family. We do all of this, you know what I mean? We pick up slack over here and we contribute to everything. So at this particular time, we had one of these meetings because, godson, he getting in trouble and stuff. And right in front of him, the principal says he's hanging around the wrong crowd. Now, I know you know him, of him, he goes to your school, but I know him, of him, this is my godson. And I told the principal respectfully, don't ever say that in front of him anymore. He doesn't need to be enabled in his bad behavior. Sometimes he isn't hanging around the wrong crowd. Sometimes he is the wrong crowd. And that's the other thing that Steve's story made me think of when he kept saying, well, they did everything right. They did everything right. Sir, I get it. That's your daughter and you're supposed to think of her in those terms, sir. But just because you think of her in those terms, it doesn't make it reality, bro. Finally, guys, I love it when they reminded us all that this isn't a sitcom. Yes, there are television shows about it. This isn't a television. These people aren't characters. This is real life. These are real human beings surviving, losing their loved ones, and those were real human beings who were slaughtered like animals, whoever did it, right? And no matter at what stage we get, whether we're talking about Samantha and her experience and how that reflects on Steve, whether we're talking about Brian and him being accused and how that reflects on his family, whether we're talking about the G's doing another interview, whether we're talking about the Chapins not wanting to say anything, whether we're talking about Cara, as how I say her name, Zaina's mom, like, yeah, we're going to have opinions and sometimes we're going to run off out our mouth when we should shut the hell up. But that should be the limited amount of time. That should be the exception, not the rule, guys. The rule should be that we speak about these people the same way we want them to speak about Brian, or we would want them to speak about us or anyone that we have love for had they found themselves in a type of situation like this. We need to be kind. We need to be gracious. We need to be thoughtful. We need to remember that the people next to us on a daily basis, whether it's at work, in line in the grocery store, when we're picking up something to eat, the car next to us, and at the stoplight, these are human beings. And yes, humans make it hard to remember that. But once again, you need to fight to remember that. Me, myself included, I have to remind myself of this because it's hard. But we got to fight to remember that the people that we come in contact with are humans. And like Samantha said, the things we say and do have the power to affect their lives, man. Innocent until I'm out of here.
I was talking to Jack about some of the songs that she loved, and he's like, one of her last songs that she was listening to was Most People Are Good.
It's a country song.
It's a country song, and I remind myself that when I want to be angry and I'm in the car and something, Most People Are Good. The page is a reminder of that.
Yes.
And you don't want it to turn you into a monster because something bad has happened to you.
No.
And it's not easy when you see all these different comments being made and all these rumors and the gag order and all these people make up these stories online. It's not a fun process to go through, so you need those people to remind you that most people aren't like that. And
most people are good.
Yeah, most people are good and trying to do the best.
Y'all leave them down folks alone, man. You don't know if jumping in front of the camera is how they deal with losing their daughter. Hell, I be on their ass too, but I probably need to chill myself. But they do need to shut the hell up sometime too. Two things can't be true.